Imagine waking up one day to find that all your life savings have vanished overnight. Unfortunately, this nightmare scenario is all too real for thousands of people who fall victim to financial scams every year. But it doesn't have to happen to you. In this video, I'll teach you how to spot the warning signs of financial fraud, avoid common scams, and keep your hard-earned cash safe and sound. Let's get started. Financial scams have always existed, but with the rise of social media and the internet, they've become more widespread and sophisticated than ever. It's now easier for scammers to reach a wider audience, disguise their intentions, and steal your money right under your nose. To protect yourself, you need to understand what a financial scam is. In simple terms, a financial scam is a fraudulent scheme designed to deceive people and steal their money. Scammers use a variety of tactics to lure in their victims, such as promising high returns with little risk, creating a sense of urgency, or requesting personal information. These schemes can come in many forms, such as pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, investment frauds, and online phishing scams. Understanding why people fall for scams is crucial in protecting your money. Scammers are skilled manipulators, and they use psychological tactics to lure in their victims. One tactic they use is to prey on emotions such as greed, fear, or sympathy. They may promise high returns or claim that a loved one is in danger, playing on the victim's emotions and clouding their judgment. Another tactic is to build trust by presenting themselves as legitimate and trustworthy. They may use fake credentials, testimonials, or impressive-looking websites to create an air of professionalism and authority. Finally, scammers can create a sense of scarcity and urgency, pursuing victims to act quickly before they miss out on a lucrative and golden opportunity. This pressure can cloud the victim's judgment and lead to rash decisions. Remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay, now let's take a look at some common financial scams to be aware of. Pyramid schemes. Pyramid schemes are fraudulent systems that promise participants payment or services for enrolling others into the scheme rather than supplying any real investment or sale of products. These schemes are unsustainable and often illegal, as they require a constant flow of new members to support the payments of earlier members. A classic example of a pyramid scheme is the Ponzi scheme run by Bernie Madoff, who promised investors high returns and paid earlier investors with money from later investors. This scheme eventually collapsed, resulting in billions of dollars in losses. A more recent example is the pyramid scheme run by the company Telexfree, which promised participants payment for enrolling others into this scheme, but ultimately defrauded thousands of people out of millions of dollars. Ponzi scheme is similar to pyramid scheme, but involve investment fraud. The scammer promises high returns to investors and pay earlier investors with money from later investors rather than from legitimate investment returns. These schemes eventually collapse when the scammer runs out of new investors to pay off earlier ones. A well-known Ponzi scheme is the one operated by Alan Stamford, who sold fraudulent certificates of deposit through his bank, Stamford International Bank. Investors were promised high returns, but the bank was actually using new investors' money to pay off earlier investors. The scheme ultimately defrauded investors of over $7 billion. Investment frauds. Investment frauds involve scam artists selling fraudulent or non-existent investments, often using high-pressure sales tactics and promises high returns. These scams can take many forms, such as fake real estate investments, stock promotions, or oil and gas schemes. A notorious example of investment fraud is the Enron scandal, where the energy company used complex financial structures to hide debt and inflate profits, ultimately leading to its bankruptcy and the loss of billions of dollars for investors. Another example is the Theranos Scandel. It's a really interesting case, where the biotech company falsely claimed to have developed revolutionary blood testing technology and defrauded investors of millions of dollars. To protect yourself from financial scams, it's important to be able to recognize the warning signs. Here are some common red flags to look out for. Number 1. Unsolicited offers. Be cautious of unsolicited offers, especially those that promise high returns with little or no risk. Scammers often use cold calls, emails, or social media messages to reach potential victims. Number 2. Guarantees of high returns. Legitimate investments always carry some degree of risks, so be wary of any promises of guaranteed high returns. Scammers often use these tactics to lure in their victims only to disappear with the money. Number 3. Pressure to act quickly. Scammers often try to pressure victims into making rushed decisions, such as by claiming that an opportunity is limited or time-sensitive. Don't let pressure tactics cloud your judgment. Take your time to research and seek independent advice before making any financial decisions. Number 4. Requests for personal information. Be cautious of anyone asking for sensitive personal or financial information, such as bank account details or social security numbers. Legitimate organizations will not request this information unsolicited. Now that we've explored some warning signs of financial scams, let's talk about some tips to protect your money. Verify credentials. Before investing or providing personal information, verify the credentials of a person or company making the offer. Check their website, contact information, and any relevant regulatory bodies. Conduct research. Before making any financial decisions, research the company and investment opportunity thoroughly. Look for independent reviews, news articles, and any relevant regulatory information. Take time to make decisions. Don't let pressure tactics or sense of urgency cloud your judgment. Take your time to make informed decisions and don't hesitate to seek independent advice if needed. Be skeptical of unsolicited offers. Unsolicited offers should always be approached with skepticism. It's important to remember that being skeptical and verifying the authenticity of unsolicited offers is key to avoid financial scams. By following these tips, you can better protect yourself and your finances from financial scams. Remember, it's always better to be cautious and informed than to fall victim to a scam. If you're interested in this topic, financial crimes and financial scams, watching this video might be really interesting for you. Until next time, take care.